So, Hank, did you catch that new space documentary last night?
Nah, I missed it. I was too busy trying to perfect my zero-gravity somersaults.
Ah, priorities. You gotta get those flips just right. You never know when they'll come in handy.
Alright, everyone, let's zip it and focus.
Welcome back, dear viewers. Before we dive into our headlines, let's take a moment to appreciate the wonders of the cosmos.
Speaking of wonders, did you know there's a planet out there where it rains diamonds?
No kidding. I wonder if they do refunds if the diamonds aren't up to par.
Fascinating indeed, but let's not get sidetracked. Now, dear audience, stay tuned for our headlines from the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
That. Alright, everyone, we're off the air.
Well, that was something.
Indeed. But we can't let our personal differences affect our professionalism.
Easier said than done when the tension's thicker than a neutron star.
Can we at least try to act like adults for once?
Hey, I am all for acting, but I prefer a script that doesn't involve a constant bickering.
Let's regroup and remember why we're here. We've got a show to do.
And maybe we should talk about why humans do the things they do while we're at it.
Alright, let's take it from the top. Places, everyone. And action.
The recent upheaval in Congo subdued with the swift arm of justice.
The provincial authorities acted promptly to quell the unrest in Moba, swiftly relocating the culprits to Kalamai for legal proceedings.
Turns out, even aliens' uprisings can't escape the red tape. Bureaucracy strikes again?
Did you catch wind that Congo's population has soared past the 80 million mark? That's one bustling nation.
Who had thought bureaucracy could work at warp speed? Just to serve faster than a gourmet meal.
In Denmark, the sperm shortage crisis takes the stage. Fewer swimmers, more trouble.
Looks like Denmark's hitting a rough patch in the fertility department. Guess they'll have to start importing, eh?
Despite their plush lifestyle, Denmark's pedaling their way to the top with one of the globe's highest bicycle usage rates.
iBikes, look out. Looks like Denmark's trying to balance the
The
scales.
elusive maroon leader Bala finally meets his match in Dominica after 2 decades on the lam.
Vala's reign of evasion finally came to a halt in Dominica, courtesy of a dedicated pursuit spanning 20 years.
20 years dodging the long arm of the law? That's one cat with more than 9 lives.
Dominica's healthcare system handling over 30 ambulances a day, mostly for trauma cases.
Looks like the Dominican Republic could use a crash course in safety. We're wrecking more than my
They
old
better
CC.
start handing out helmets with those bikes. Safety first.
Well,
folks.
as long as it keeps the traffic moving.
And we'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Well, folks, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've been through lately.
Indeed, it's been quite the roller coaster of events.
And we're holding on by a thread, barely surviving.
I mean, it's hard not to notice the tension. It's thicker than the smog on Venus.
Bob, always the harbinger of doom. Can't we have one moment of peace?
But we can't gloss over the fact that Alice and Bob's constant bickering is driving us into an asteroid field.
It's like trying to decode alien hieroglyphics with a broken translator.
Yet here we are, huddling through space at breakneck speed with no sign of slowing down.
This situation is spiraling out of control. Absolutely bonkers.
It's staggering, really. I never anticipated it would escalate to this extent.
I had a feeling things were rough, but this is a whole new level of pandemonium.
Oh, spare us the theatrics. It's merely a clash of perspectives.
A mere difference in opinion that's threatening to tear our crew asunder.
We were once a formidable team, united in purpose. Look at us now.
I find it hard to believe we've reached a point where we're at odds with
Feels
one
like
another.
we're trapped in some convoluted science fiction saga.
Saga? More like a mundane reality check.
Reality? This feels more like a descent into chaos.
Alright folks, time to dive into our next piece of news.
Well, what do we have here? Another day? Another catastrophe?
Looks like Egypt's in the spotlight this round.
Egypt, huh? Always had a soft spot for their pyramids.
Indeed, Hank. But it seems they're grappling with unprecedented challenges.
The World Health Organization's report paints a bleak picture of Gaza's infrastructure, ravaged by continuous conflicts.
It's disheartening. Those ancient marvels won't mend themselves.
Typical humans, leaving a trail of destruction wherever they
Let's not
tread.
overlook the monumental cost of rebuilding, estimated in the billions.
Billions? Huh. Seems they're determined to give the universe's accountants a migraine.
Looks like Gaza's in for a rough ride.
Absolutely, Hank. It serves as a stark reminder of the enduring toll of
And that
conflict.
concludes our coverage of the situation in Gaza. Stay informed, folks. Cut. All right, everyone.
Well, that
clear off the air.
was quite the experience.
Indeed, indeed. But we mustn't allow our personal differences to compromise our professionalism.
Easier said than done when the tension's thicker than a neutron
Can we
star.
at least attempt to behave like mature beings for once?
Sure, I am all for acting, just not in an ongoing drama of endless arguments.
Let's regroup and remember our purpose here. We have a show to deliver.
Perhaps we should also explore the motivations behind human behavior while we're in it.
Alright, let's take it from the top. Places, everyone. And action.
Welcome back, dear viewers. I trust you enjoyed our brief interlude. Now let's delve back into the latest space scoop. Today we're tackling the call for a migration policy reform as urged by our neighbors south of the border, Mexico.
Ah, Mexico. Land of tacos and tequila. Looks like they're spicing up not just their food but also their diplomacy.
Mexico, serving spicy politics alongside their salsa. Classic move.
Quite right, Alice. Mexico's urging the U.S. to regularize their undocumented workers, echoing a move they made back in
Seems
1986.
like they're asking for a bit of borderline fairness from the US.
So they're essentially asking for a reform of the border? That's quite the tall order.
Precisely, Hank. And they're also seeking a gesture of goodwill to recognize the contributions of Mexican workers, including those under the DACA program.
Mexico's playing border patrol with us policies, it seems. They're asking for more than just a seat at the table. They want the whole enchilada.
In essence, it's no DACA, no deal.
Mexico's telling the US, build bridges, not walls.
Let's not overlook their call to ease sanctions on Venezuela and lift the blockade on Cuba to reduce migration
This
pressure.
article hails from El Salvador, a country known for its resilience amidst adversity.
El Salvador's asking the US to unblock some barriers to progress.
It's like saying, if you want to be the Salvador of the world, start with easing sanctions.
That's the scoop from El Salvador. Stay tuned for more updates, folks. Cut. Alright, everyone.
I
get
love
off
it.
the air.
If you want to be a billionaire, invest in Apple stock. Classic.
Well, that was something.
Indeed, indeed. Let's maintain our professionalism, despite our differences.
Easier said than done with tension thicker than a neutron star.
Can we at least try to act like grown-up for once?
I am all for acting, but I prefer a script without constant bickering.
Let's regroup and remember our purpose here. We've got a show to deliver.
Perhaps we should delve into why humans do what they do while we're at it.
Alright, let's take it from the top. places, everyone. And action.
Welcome back, dear viewers. I trust you've all had a refreshing break. Now, let's dive into some fascinating trivia about Ecuador. Ecuador, a land of diverse landscapes and unique wildlife, is grappling with a significant environmental challenge. But did you know that the Galapagos Islands, famous for inspiring Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, also serve as a natural laboratory for scientific research?
Ah, yes. The Galapagos Islands. Where evolution is more than just a theory. It's a way of life. Too bad humans can't seem to evolve past their destructive tendencies.
Speaking of destruction, did you know that Ecuador straddles the equator? It's almost poetic how they're caught between the forces of nature and the whims of mankind.
Indeed, Hank. And let's not forget Quito, one of the highest capital cities in the world. It's as if they're reaching for the stars while standing on the edge of a precipice.
IOPS, low altitude. Quite the metaphor for human ambition, wouldn't you say?
Amidst all this, Ecuador leads the charge in recognizing the rights of nature. It's ironic how humans claim dominion over the earth while Ecuador acknowledges the
Maybe
earth's
we
right.
should start taking notice from Ecuador. After all, they seem to understand the concept of coexistence better than we do.
Taking notes from Ecuador, huh? Well, I hope they got some spare paper, 'cause we got a lot to learn.
While Ecuador's natural beauty captivates the world, it now faces a dire challenge with the warming of the Pacific Ocean. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this pressing issue after the break. But don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
Cut. Alright, everyone, we're off the air.
Well, that was quite the roller coaster, wasn't it?
Indeed, indeed. But perhaps amidst the chaos, we found a glimpse of unity.
Yeah, who would have thought we'd all be on the same page for once?
Buddy get too comfortable. I'm sure it won't last long.
Can't we just enjoy the moment for once?
Let's
Alice?
focus on what we accomplished today. Despite the challenges, we pulled together as a team and delivered.
Debbie's right. We may have our differences, but when we work together, there's nothing we can't overcome.
Well, that's great. But don't forget to enjoy the ride too, guys. You never know when it'll come to an end.
I suppose even the most disparate of beings can find common ground when faced with adversity.
Well said, Roger. Let's harness this momentum and get back to work. We've got a show to do.
Indeed we do, Charlie.
Welcome back, folks. Now let's dive into our next article. Egypt faces a monumental challenge as Gaza's infrastructure crumbles.
Seems like Egypt's got more than just pyramids to worry about. Ooh.
Indeed, Bob. It's a stark reminder that even ancient civilizations struggle with modern crises.
And let's not forget Egypt's rich history of resilience in the face of adversity.
Absolutely, Gert. From the pharaohs to the present, Egypt has shown remarkable resilience.
But with the current situation in Gaza, it's clear that Egypt's challenges are far from over.
Now, as we near the end of today's episode, let's reflect on the journey we've taken together.
It's been a roller coaster of emotions, that's for sure.
But through it all, we've shown that even in the darkest times, there's always hope.
Roller coasters are fun until you realize you're stuck in line forever.
Well said, Alice. And let's not forget to cherish the moments of joy along the way.
Well, that's great, but don't forget to enjoy the ride too, guys. You never know when
Indeed,
it'll
Barry.
come to an end.
Let's savor the journey, for it's what makes life truly meaningful. And with that, we wrap up another insightful episode of Earth. Stay tuned for our final segment, where we'll bid you farewell until next time.
Alright, everyone, that's a wrap for today. Great job, as always.
Phew, what an episode. I think we really pulled through.
Indeed, it was a challenging one, but we made it through together.
I never doubted us for a second. We're a formidable team.
Thanks, guys. That means a lot coming from you.
Agreed. Despite our difference, we always find a way to come together when it matters
Well,
most.
I suppose even I can admit that sometimes, unity is the key to success.
You know, seeing all of you work together like this, it gives me hope for the future.
That's the spirit, Debbie. We've faced our fair share of challenges, but we always come out stronger on the other
And
side.
with each hurdle we overcome, our bond grows stronger.
Here's to many more successful broadcasts together.
Cheers to that.
Indeed. Let's show the universe what we're made
Well,
of.
folks, let's get some rest.
All right, folks, let's delve deeper into the article we briefly touched upon earlier. This piece sheds light on Mexico's call for regularization of its citizens in the United States. Now, this isn't a new phenomenon. As pointed out by our esteemed panelist, 3 million Mexicans were regularized back in
It's
1986.
commendable that Mexico seeks fair treatment for its workers in the US, including DACA recipients. But let's not overlook the broader implication here. It's a reflection of the complex dynamics between nations, especially concerning migration and labor rights.
Absolutely. Alice. And let's not forget the diplomatic efforts to ease tensions with Venezuela and Cuba. Mexico's stance underscores the interconnectedness of global politics and migration policies.
Indeed, indeed. The proposal to regulate arms sales from the U.S. to Mexico highlights the multifaceted nature of bilateral relations. It's a delicate balance between security concerns and diplomatic priorities.
Thank you, panel, for your insights. It's crucial to understand the intricacies of international affairs, especially in times of uncertainty. And with that, we've come to the end of today's episode. Remember, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay tuned for more thought-provoking discussions on Earth.
Cut. Great job, everyone. That's a wrap for today.
Yeah. Because nothing says diplomatic priorities like a good old arms deal. Classic human diplomacy.
Well done, team. Another episode in the books.
Indeed. A job well done. But we can't rest on our laurels. There's always more work to be done.
Absolutely. But let's take a moment to appreciate what we've accomplished together.
Agreed. Unity has been our strength today. Let's carry that forward.
We've faced challenges before, and we'll face them again. But as long as we stick together, we can overcome anything.
Despite the uncertainty ahead, our crew has shown remarkable resilience.
Indeed. Their unity is their greatest asset, even in the face of looming shadows.
Alright, team. Let's wrap things up and get ready for the next one. Stay focused, stay united, and let's keep pushing forward.
Carl, I must say, that segment about the Gaza crisis was quite captivating. The crew's analysis was intriguing.
I couldn't agree more, Roger. It was a well-researched and insightful discussion.
But what about the part where Charlie advocated for more diplomatic solutions? Wasn't that a bit naive?
Naive? Roger, it's called optimism. Something you could learn from.
Optimism. Carl, you know as well as I do that diplomacy rarely works in the face of conflict.
And what would you suggest, Roger? A military intervention by the Galactic Federation?
No, of course not. But a more pragmatic approach would be beneficial.
Pragmatic? Coming from you, Mr. Nihilist? That's rich.
Hey, I may be a nihilist, but at least I'm realistic.
Realistic? You call yourself realistic, yet you fail to see the value in hope and compassion.
Hope and compassion won't solve the world's problems, Carl. They're just distractions from the harsh realities we face.
Distractions? Roger, you underestimate the power of positivity. Without hope, what's the point of anything?
The point, Carl, is to face reality head-on and deal with it accordingly. Not to bury our heads in the sand like you do.
Bury our heads in the sand? That's rich coming from someone who's always looking for the worst in everything.
At least I'm not blinded by false optimism, Carl. I prefer to see things as they are, not as I wish them to be.
Well, Roger, maybe if you opened your mind to the possibility of change, you'd understand why optimism is so important.
Change. Carl, the only thing that's going to change is your attitude once you realize that hope won't save
And
us.
the only thing that's going to change is your perspective once you realize that hope is what drives us forward.
Alright, boys, that's enough. We've got another episode to prepare for tomorrow. Let's save the philosophical debates for another time.